Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my online proposal seminar. My name is Aljabar, and before we start our sessions today, I would like to say thanks to Ma'am Rona Elfiza SPD MPD as my first advisor, and I would like to say thanks to Mr. Gatot Subroto SS MPD as my second advisor, and also I would like to say thanks to Ma'am Nana Raihana Askurni SPD SHM Hum as my first examiner, and I would like to say thanks to Ma'am Dewi Murni SSM Hum as my second examiner. And yeah, let's take a look at my title here. The title is The Effect of Scavenger Hunt Game on Students' Writing Skill at 7th Grade of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang. In my research proposal, there are 3 chapters. The first chapter will contain 7 points. The first point is background of the problem. Second point is identification of the problem. Third point is limitation of the problem. Fourth point is research question. Fifth point is objective of the research. Sixth point, the significance of the study. That will be divided into 2 points, theoretically and practically. And the last point is definition of key terms. Now we move to 1.1, background of the problem. First point is language is the main important thing to communicate and state human feeling. The second point is a view of the students are difficult to understand the material. The third point is writing is the hardest skill of English that the student of 7th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang to master. The lack of the teaching technique to make the students interested. Now let's take a look at the note. Scavenger hunt as the teaching technique that interested to use. Therefore, by considering the background of the problem here, I conduct the study under the title The Effect of Scavenger Hunt Game on Students' Writing Skill at 7th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang. Now we move to 1.2 identification of the problem. There are 4 identification. The first one is the students were bored in learning English. The second is the students were not interested in learning English. The third point is the student's ability in writing was bad. The fourth point is the teacher had a lack of technique variation in teaching English. Now let's take a look at 1.3, limitation of the problem. I limited this research on the lack of students' writing skill at 7th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang. And then 1.4, research question. The research question is the scavenger hunt game effective for teaching writing descriptive text at 7th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang? Now we move to 1.5, purpose of the research. The objective of the research is to know the effectiveness of scavenger hunt game for teaching writing descriptive text at 7th grade SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang. And the 1.6, the significance of study. Theoretically, this research can be expected to give any benefits to the development of science, while practically, the first one is for English teacher. The teacher can have any idea about how to teach English to the 7th grade students with more creative and innovative. The second is for the students. The students can be more active when the teaching and learning process. And the third is another researcher, as a preference to another similar research. Now we move to the last point of my first chapter, that is definition of key terms. The first one is scavenger hunt. A scavenger hunt game is a game in which the players, either individuals or teams, compete to see who can obtain the most items from a list. 2. Descriptive text. Descriptive writing appeals to the sense, so it tells how something looks, feels, smells, tastes, and or sound. And the third one is writing. Writing enhances language acquisition as learners experiment with words, sentences, and other elements of writing to communicate their idea effectively. and to reinforce the grammar and vocabulary they are learning in the class. Now we move to my second chapter. In my second chapter will be 4 points. The first point is review of the related theory. The second point of review of related findings. The third point is conceptual framework. The fourth point is hypothesis. Let's take a look at 2.1.1.1 definition of writing. Hartman 1972. Writing is functional communication, making learners possible to create imagined worlds of their own design. While Bello 1997 stated that writing enhances language acquisition as learners experiment with words, sentences, and other elements of writing to communicate their idea effectively and to reinforce the grammar and vocabulary they are learning in class. Now we move to 2.1.1.2, the writing process. Zimek 2005 stated that writing process goes through several steps to produce a good written product. There are some sub-activities to be taken in producing the text. It is more than just putting words together to make sentences. While Harmer 2007 states that the stages on writing are planning, drafting, revising, and final drafting. The one way of focusing on different aspects of writing is to look at writing as a process. Now we move to 2.1.2.1, definition of descriptive text. Oshima and Hart 1997 state that descriptive writing appeals to the senses, so it tells how something looks, feels, smells, tastes, and or sounds. While Bascombe 1990 state that description is kind of writing used for presenting a verbal portrait of a person or thing. While Harmon 1992 state that descriptive text has the generic structure as follows. The first one is identification and the second one is description. Now we move to 2.2, review of related findings. There are 3 related findings that I found. The first one is from Anum Sari 2016. Using treasure hunt game to improve the 7th grade student comprehension in reading descriptive text at SMP Negeri 2 Gondang, Tulungagung in the academic year of 2016. The aim of this research was to improve the students' comprehension in reading descriptive text by using treasure hunt game. The method of the research was classroom action research. The second related findings is from Aminuddin 2016. Improving students' speaking skill by using scavenger hunt game in Mankunir. The objective of the research was to improve the students' speaking skill. The objective of the research was to improve the students' speaking skill, and the method of the research was also classroom action research. And the last one is Prisna 2015, teaching vocabulary using scavenger hunt to the first grade student at Mi Negeri Surakarta in 2014 and 2015 academic year. The objective of the study are to describe the procedure of teaching vocabulary using scavenger hunt and to know the students' responses to the teaching learning activity of the use of scavenger hunt in teaching vocabulary. The method of this research was descriptive qualitative. Now we move to my conceptual framework. As you can see at the picture here, my slide here, teaching descriptive text will be divided into 2 classes. The first one is experimental class, and the second one is the control class. Experimental class will be used scavenger hunt game as a treatment, while in control class will be using guessing game as the treatment. Now we move to our last point of my second chapter, hypothesis. There is alternative hypothesis when there is positive effect in the result of the students taught by using scavenger hunt game to mastering writing descriptive text, while there is null hypothesis when there's no effect in the result of students taught by using scavenger hunt game to mastering writing descriptive text. Now finally we reach the last chapter of my research proposal. Chapter 3. In this chapter will be 7 points. The first point is research design, and the second point is population sample and sampling. The third point is research instrument. Fourth point is research variable. Fifth point, technique of data collecting. Sixth point is technique of data analysis. Seventh point is research schedule. Now we move to 3.1, research design. The research design of this study is experimental research. According to Muitz 2004, experimental design are sometimes known as the scientific method due to their popularity in scientific research where they originated. Pre-test, post-test, control group design will be used as a type of design on this experimental research. Pre-test and post-test will be given to the control and experimental classes. The control class will be taught by using a guessing game, beside the scavenger hunt game will be applied in the experimental class. Now we move to 3.2.1, population. Ari 2006 said that population is all members of well-defined class of people, events, or objects. The population of this research are the 7th grade of student. The population of this research are the 7th grade student of SMP Negeri 1 Tanjung Pinang. There are 7 classes in 7th grade students, which is contain 32 students in each classes. The total number of the population are 224 students. Now we move to 3.2.2, sample. A sample is a part of the population. It is a small piece of the population. Ari 2006 stated that selection of a sample is a very important step in conducting a research because it is expected that the sample can be as the representative of the population. The sample of the research are the students of the 7.6 class as the control class, and 7.7 class will be the experimental class. Next we move to 3.2.3, sampling. According to Gay 2012, sampling is the process of selecting number of individuals for a study in such a way that the individuals represent the large group for which they are selected. Purposive sampling will be used in this research. A purposive sampling is a non-probability sample that is selected based on characteristics of a population and the objective of the study. The researcher chooses purposive sampling because the students of 7.6 and 7.7 have similarities in ability of learning English. Now we move to 3.3, research instrument. Gay and Iracian 2000 state that instrument is a tool that is used in collecting data. The research instrument of this study is an essay test. David 2009 states that essay tests enable to judge student ability to organize, integrate, interpret material, and express themselves in their own words. The instruction of essay test that will be given as follows. As you can see, do this game in groups. Your teacher will tell you how to play scavenger hunt game. You have to find the item that has been hidden by your teacher around the school area. Write down the descriptive text of the items that you found. In this research, the researcher calculates the student's scores in essay test by using a rubric. Now we move to 3.4, research variable. 2 variables are contained in this research. The X is independent variable and the Y is dependent variable. X variable is a variable that gives an impact to the independent variable. As you can see at the table here, independent variable is the scavenger hunt game and dependent variable is student's ability in writing descriptive text. Now we move to 3.5, technique of data collecting. A technique of data collecting is a way that used by the researcher to get the data. To collect the data, the researcher will do some activities. There are 4 activities that the researcher will do. The first one is the researcher will do the pretest first to know the student's ability in writing descriptive text to the both classes. The second activity is after the pretest is done, apply the treatment by giving the instruction. The control class will be taught by using guessing game, and the experimental class will be taught by using scavenger hunt game. I will give the instruction on how to play the games on both classes, and we'll do this treatment in 3 meetings. And third point is give the students post-test to measure the student's ability in writing descriptive text after the treatment is applied. Fourth fourth activity is calculate the score of their test. And 3.6, the teaching of data analysis. There are three tests that I will use to analyzing the data. The first one is normality test. Normality test aims to determine whether the distribution of responses has a normal distribution or not. The researcher used Kolmogorov-Smirnov in Minitab 17 for Windows to calculate the data. In normality test, if the result of the p-value is higher than 0.05, it means that the data is in normal distribution. The second test is homogeneity test. Test of homogeneity aims to determine whether the sample taken from the population have the same variance or do not show any significant difference from each other. The researcher will use Minitab 17 to calculate the homogeneity test. The last test is hypothesis test. A t-test formula used in this research is to prove the hypothesis. It is aimed to analyze the significant differences between the mean score in experimental and control groups. The researcher used 0.05 as the level of significance for the t-test. The researcher will use t-test in Minitab 17 to calculate the data. Now, we reach the end of my proposal seminar, and this is the last point of my proposal. 3.7 research schedule. You can look at my table here, and yeah, thank you. I think that's all. That's all for me, and thank you everyone for participating, and I'm sorry if I make a mistake, and remember, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay home. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.